Hey there, in today's video I'm going to show you how to put text inside images, and this image to the left is an image that I had on my last video. It was just sitting there, so I had a couple of people ask me if I could do a video on how I did that. This particular one is pretty simple. All I did was weld it because it was the text is already a line image, it's not solid. So I'm going to take a solid image and show you how I did it. So let's get started. So I'm going to show you how to grab a solid image and how to turn it into this. So you can use it for a decal or heat transfer vinyl on a shirt or wherever you want it, whatever you want to do. So I'm probably going to use a different state just to not be biased. Okay, so I'm going to come up here. I'm in Silhouette Studio. I'm going to have the business edition. I'm going to come up to File, Merge. I'm just going to go to my desktop and go into my images. I'm going to go down to, I have a file with state shapes. Obviously don't do too many. Let's just pick, I said I wasn't going to do Texas. Hell, why not? I'm from Texas. So I'm going to grab this, see how it has a background. Let me make this, I'm trying to turn my mat on so I can have this back transparent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I'm going to remove the back. Actually, I'm just going to trace it. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to come to the right panel, and I call this a little slice of bread because that's what it reminds me of, but it's called the trace panel. So you just click on it, and I use this a lot. So click on select trace area, and then you're literally going to select the whole thing. And you have to wait a little bit. And so as you can see here, there's not enough yellow, and the yellow tells you what's going to be traced. So I'm just going to go all the way, whoops, put it right at 94. I'm just going to trace it. I'm not going to really do anything else with that image. So move this to the side. Oh crap, it traced the whole thing. It's okay. I'm going to right click. I'm going to release the compound path. All I want is this outline. The rest I'm just going to delete it. Okay, so what we're going to do is make it bigger. So now I'm going to go to the right side again, and I'm going to click on that little star because I want to create an offset. So I'm going to highlight both, right click, and make it a compound path. And let's color it in just so you can see that it's just an outline now. And I always like to come up here and make it transparent so I don't see any red lines. That way it's not distracting to me. So I'm going to come up here and type in home. And I'm going to pick a random font. Let's see, come up to the right. I want to use something that's going to connect without too much effort. Like this. See how this connected perfectly? That would look good. Something like this because of this. I'm just going to make some adjustments. Okay, let's say I wanted it like that. Okay, I don't want it to come out on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stretch it to here. I'm going to shrink this a little bit. Just play with it however you want it. This doesn't even look right. I was worried about this, focus on this little, another thing you can do, if you double click, hold on, let me bring this down. Let me show you something real quick. Another thing I can do is I'm going to slice this, I'm going to cut this little tail off. Escape. And that way I can make it to how I want it. I really wanted it right there. Guess that's not going to work, but either way. So that looks good. So all you have to do now, make sure it's connecting or overlapping just a little bit. I'm going to move this over to the left. Actually, I'm going to leave that alone. Actually, I want to move this down just a tad. Make sure they're all connecting, and then just highlight the whole thing and weld it. And now it's one piece, and there's your decal or whatever. You transfer vinyl for your shirt or whatever you want to make with it. Anyway, that's how I make my decals, or you can get creative with these like I did here. I think that looks pretty cool. For me, there's too much of an empty space here, so you can put something like home is where the heart is. You can type it in like down here. Just get creative. Home is where, go down, and you can put a heart there or what have you. Anyway, just get creative. You're not limited. Don't limit yourself. Get creative. And then, of course, change your font. You can do whatever you want. Whoops, I like. Stretch it. And then if I want to make this the same color, to make this just to do really fast, you hold Control down and just anywhere on that blue, click on it, and it's the same color. Or if you say I like this color, hold Control down and click on it, it'll make it black. And let's say if this one was red over here, I would just hold Control down and click on it, and it would turn whatever color it is. Another tip, you can use like little, let's say you're working on a project and you have like 5, 6, maybe 7 colors, and you're trying to come up with something creative, or maybe the customer's telling you, hey, I have some decals and I need a bunch of different colors. You can, create a little palette for yourself to put it to the right. Like, let me give you an example. You can do squares. I always like to use circles. So I'm going to hold Shift down so I can make a perfect circle and escape. And then I'm going to click on the circle. I'm going to hold Control, arrow down, Control, arrow down, highlight all, Shift, arrow down, grab all these, Shift, arrow down. I'm just spacing them perfectly. Grabbing these last two, Shift, arrow down, grabbing one, Shift, arrow down. And then from here you can, the customer said, I want red or orange, I want red, I want yellow, I want whatever, green, blue, and black. I'm going to highlight all. Like I said, I like to use the transparency, so there's no red. So now back to this. Okay, so now you're preparing your template or your decal for the customer, and you want to give them different options. So let's say I'm gonna shift to the right. I'm just copying, Shift down, Shift to the left. I know this had to do with connecting images, but I'm also adding extra tips. So let's say that the customer wants to see it all black. They want to see it all green. All I'm doing is clicking, holding Control down and clicking on the color yellow. Click, Control, click on the red. And there you go. So you know greens too. Probably not going to be a good selection. So do that. So that's an idea, or that's how I come up with my text to image decals or heat transfer vinyl or what have you, whatever you want to call it. I always say the sky's the limit with Silhouette. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful. Until next time.